There was a decent fight card that took place yesterday, June 10th, 2023, from the UK. And I had a chance to check it out. And it turned out that I was very happy with what I was able to see from this card. The card was broadcast on Dazn, where Sonny Edwards came out and defended his championship title, the IBF World Flyweight title, against Andres Campos in a main event. This card was from Wembley Arena in the UK, promoted by Matchroom. A decent card with decent fighters headlining. Let's talk about this a little further.
For Spence right now, he's throwing that right left
Boxing. It's what I like and what I love to talk about on my channel. And last night, I got a chance to see a decent card from the UK where we saw Sonny Edwards defending his IBF World Flyweight title against Andres Campos. But also on that card were some very quality fighters, ranging from hopefuls to other champions, also in the women's division of boxing. This is one of the things that, like I said many times before, we need to cover that more so than just the negative things that happen in boxing, the disappointing news, matches not being made, fighters ducking, things of that nature. Look for the silver lining in boxing. What can keep the sport afloat? And this was one of those cards that helps to do that for me. Sonny Edwards was able to defend his IBF World Flyweight title against Campos, and it turned out to be a very decent fight between two contrasting styles. Edwards, who came into the fight where his unorthodox manner of offense and defense was difficult for the Chilean Andres Campos, who comes in with the Mexican style, face forward, looking to grind and go after. Now, both men entered the fight with, for Edwards, he was 19-0 with 5 KOs, and Campos was 15-0 with 5 KOs. They both were orthodox fighters, both 5'3", and 60-inch reach for Edwards, 64.5 for Campos. And they gave as good as they got in the fight. But the unorthodox manner of which how Sonny did his thing kept Campos off a little bit. But I do believe if Campos had more punching power this would have been a different situation for Edwards. Now, as far as Edwards, I don't expect someone like he to have a lot of power, but it would serve him better if he would learn to plant his feet and throw his punches properly. He seemingly has that Prince Nassim type of disposition in his approach to his output. It can be engaging, but we've seen that before. Do your own thing, man. Also, in the co-main feature here, we had Shanika Johnson taking on Ellie Scottney for the IBF World Super Bantamweight title. Now, these two women came in, and it was just a grinding good fight for the two of them. But I noticed early on that Shanika, who was working and operating behind a jab, a stiff jab, but she really didn't have a variety of punches. She's from Australia, and Scottney, who's from the UK, had come in, and they took this fight, though she had only 6 fights under her belt, and being 25 years old, she challenged Johnson, who's 15-1 now and 28 years old, but Scottney had more to offer in variety of punches. She was able to dig left hooks to the body, do very well with good body work, cutting her opponent off, dipping, and she had this little movement that reminded me of Sweet Pea Whitaker when she moves up forward and she shoots her shots and she does this little dip side to side. So anything that's coming back would miss. It's hard to time a fighter like that. So her upper body movement is very good, Ellie Scottney. And salute to Scottney, who was able to lift Johnson's title from her. It was a very entertaining match for the women. I love what I saw from there. Now, there was another women's bout where Nina Hughes took on Katie Healy. Now, that was for the WBA World Bantamweight title. A good fight that saw these two ladies come in and do their thing. Again, when you talk about fighters doing what they do well, you can always expect quality when the fighters present themselves. Now, Hughes is 40 years old. Healy is 25. This was the type of fight that a person would want to really show how bad they want to be champion. And as the bout went on, you could actually see that Hughes was able to pull this out. Good fight. Good fight. Now, there was another fight on this card that I was looking forward to seeing. Now, this particular fight was a display from the cruiserweight division where we get to see Shavon Clark, and he was taking on David Jamison. Now, Jamison was brought in as an opponent. There was nothing about him that gave me any indication that he was going to be able to turn back Shavon Clark. Clark is 32 years of age, and Jamison is 31. But these men were not evenly matched, though Jamison had a record of 10-2. Mr. Clark had a lot to say about what Mr. Jamison was going to do in there. And the way that they fought, you could see that Jamison was in trouble once Clark started landing his power shots. It was not pretty. He was busting up Jamison, and he had him down once in the 4th and also in the 5th prior to the stoppage. I'm interested in seeing Shavon Clark as he moves up because he could be a fighter that they can put in there against the likes of someone like Babbage the Savage. Okay, I put it out there. I would want to see those two guys mix it up. But those are the kind of fights that we saw on this UK card. Now, again, there was the heavyweight Johnny Fisher, the big kid that they like to promote out here. He took on Emilio Salas, and Salas entered the fight not looking in the best of shape, and Fisher was just a big bruising fighter. He's 6'4", an orthodox. Salas was 6'4" and a southpaw, but for whatever reason, he looked a lot smaller, a great deal smaller than Johnny Fisher. But Fisher is one of those fighters that there's some home cooking going on there. He's limited in his boxing ability, and you know, you could tell that with what they're trying to do with him, it's basically homegrown stuff there. He's now 9-0 with 8 KOs, and they're looking to build him and build him. They call him the Rumford Bull, but I believe at the end of the day, he's full of bull, because in the heavyweight division, if you do not have boxing ability, you're just going to be a punching bag for people, and you have to develop your skills. When Salas went down from the left hook that ended this fight, first round stoppage, the punch didn't even land. The punch went behind Salas's head. He acted like he was hurt and everything and shook, and I'm just sorry, that looked like a dive. I'm just going to be honest about it. But this is what we're seeing here. But the main event between Sonny Edwards and Campos, very good fight. Overall, I enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing what's on the horizon coming up in the next few weeks, because there are going to be some great matches on the Dazn network and some fighters who are going to show us some things. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are on this particular card and what Dazn is doing with their fighters going forward. Would you like to see more, or have you had enough? Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.